there's a story I've been meaning to tell, and it ties to a lot of things. Anybody that happens to see this, somebody like, tell me if this is real or just like a proverb kind of thing. My art teacher in eighth grade, um, we had, they call it advanced art. She started this program. Our school was super divided with, rednecks and us little freak kids. And it got to the point I was getting in so many near altercations between classes that Miss Provost, the art teacher, worked out that I could be in the art room all day as long as I kept up with my classwork in my other classes just to avoid problems because it was going to be one. In that class, she told me the story of. She told it as though this is a real thing, but it seems like is it like a proverb or a fable or something? Uh, but like the really famous statuette of the praying hands. Uh, she said that was the sculptor that did the original of those was one of a pair of brothers, and that they went together. The plan was the one brother would go to art school while the other worked in a stone quarry to put him through art school, and then they would flip. And the first brother went through art school. While he's going through art school, the other brother does the stone quarry thing. The first brother finishes art school and goes to take his turn at the stone quarry, and the brother that had been doing quarry work for however many years straight, he's like, "Look at my hands; these are not the hands of an artist anymore. I can't. I'm a stone worker, not a sculptor." So supposedly that is the brother that become a stone worker, a mason. Those are his hands. He was the hand model, and the other brother carved the original sculpture. I don't know if that's true or not. It seems like the kind of thing that could be, but I've always like that hit me really weird when she told me about that. And then I'm big into cartoonist kayfabe. Ed Piskor talks a lot about like the earn one, burn one. I think something like that. He's got a phrase for it, but it's like you do the thing that's going to make you some money, and then while you're living off that money, you do the thing you actually wanted to do. Like I work food production so that I can do this, and eventually this might pan out to where I don't have to do food production. Which even that I've been saying for a while. Back in the day, they talked about seize the means of production, right? I think back in the day that actually just meant the land. Uh, but like I have seized the means of production because they're well not forcing, but I can operate basically every line in the plant that I work for, and I'm not a line leader. They just need me that bad, and I do it. It's weird the things people don't put together though. Like I kept saying I didn't officially want to be a line leader, and I don't. Uh, for a lot of reasons. We have a lot. Well, if it isn't, we have a lot of idiots at my work, and they literally could not pay me enough to have to deal with adults that I'm not gonna stand there and say things to it like prime example. I had to scold someone a while back for specifically doing something I told them not to do because it's dangerous. And the way they went about it, I looked over, specifically tried to do it while I wasn't looking. Almost got hurt. Had their hand between a belt and a roller. That's dangerous. Like literally, I looked over and saw this girl's hand looking like the official pictogram for Pinch Point. You know, the one. Uh, yeah, her hand literally looked like the pictogram for Pinch Point. And I was like, "Yo, that." And flat said, like, "Look, I told you not to be doing that. If you cannot listen to what I directly tell you, I can't work with you." And there's already a couple other line leaders who won't work with that girl because you can't pay me enough to deal with that on a regular basis, man. It just, and I'm like, one of the best actual line workers you have got taking me off the line had like, and I said last year when it first started happening, I was like, I'd been complaining about being the only one that could stuff, and I was when I started running lines, I was like, oh, now they'll realize. Now they'll realize because you can't. There's only one of me. You can't have me running the line and stuffing because stuffing you are stuck there putting 70 pouches into a box per minute. Oh, it's weird how much I don't reach for the SD right now. Never was a lead player. Used to have that semi clean. I bet I could do better on the scale than I'm used to. I got a baritone coming. I'm sure, and this is a weird thing to just throw off offhandedly, but circling back, I'm sure I want to talk about the whole Nolan Wells thing because, again, like I just said, my eighth grade year, they had to make a call to let me just hang out in the art room all day because going back and forth between classes, there were too many instances of basically the entire football team trying to jump me. I left Whitley County right after high school and whatnot. I came back a couple of years later and had a friend of mine give me a heads up that basically our whole football team had become the police force, uh, and I should probably be careful. I don't think many of them lasted, but even that, like, people are starting to see, especially in the South, y'all, like the crazy level of like cowboyism and like it's not even well they don't consider it corruption. It's they're a lot of them Southern cops are like their word is the law. They are the law. Didn't you know? Like it's like I've been in some situations down there where it's like I was glad we weren't out in the middle of nowhere because I don't think it would have went well. Uh, Heck, when we got raided for acid back in 2014 down there in Gordon, and when that happened, they sent all the females. They told them to leave. Several things. They let a bunch of drugs walk out the door because they didn't that. But that's what worried me is I was like, dude, they just got rid of all the females. They're about to beat the hell out of us. I'd already been kicked in the ribs while rolling off the couch into the floor. I was asleep on the couch when they came in. They said, "Get on the ground." I went to roll onto the floor, and between the couch and the floor, caught one in the ribs. Next thing I know, I got a foot on my back, still screaming, "Get down." I literally had to say, "I'm as down as I can get." Like that. I'm glad I can keep composure because they can't. I've seen it too many times. I said before I started shooting people, like the way things are right now, this might end with me dead in the street because I got a big mouth, dude. I got a hard time watching. Like I'm not a coward. That's a thing. I'm easy to get along with and kind of unassuming or whatever, but I'm not a coward. Coward dies 1,000 deaths. You can only kill me once. I got a feeling I'm gonna be in the mix here before too much longer. There's a lot of stuff coming up about like Michigan, like, and we're so weirdly divided. It's like I remember a year or two ago there was like it's like a civil rights report card or something like that that came out for all the states, and Michigan got like a B, I think, maybe even a C. But I have a friend that grew up where I grew up that also lives downriver area, and me and her got to talking about it, and I was like, it's weird though, because like I don't know about where you're at, but where I'm at, um, it's really not a whole bunch different from like there is diversity, but in terms of a lot of the mentality, it's not that different. It's kind of crazy. And I keep pointing out Corbin when I grew up. I can't say now, but like when I grew up, Corbin was more backwards than the fictional town that To Kill a Mockingbird is set in. Let that sink in. To Kill a Mockingbird is set in 1930s Alabama or Mississippi, which I always screw that up. But it's set in a fictional 1930s deep South town, and they were like, "Well, we make the black people live over by the dump." Corbin just no, they ain't welcome anywhere in the vicinity, and made a documentary about it in 1994, and like uh it wasn't a black mark on their record kind of like they were not ashamed. I don't know what I would call the tone of that documentary. It's called Trouble Behind It. Still, it has to. It was on YouTube until very recently. Uh, but it's so weird because you can't tell. Like A couple people seem a little confused, like, they don't understand exactly uh, why people are the way they are. But then some of them seem confused as to why it's even a big, like, what's the problem? We got rid of them, and like, it's a very weird document. Like, I, I don't know. As far as that goes, I got real beef with the real Colonel, and I believe he's Colonel Sanders' nephew. He looks like him a little bit. As far as that goes, my pops, my grandpa, put Colonel Sanders across the counter at the KFC store apparently, and he was probably flirting with a girl that worked there or whatever. Uh, as far as that goes, growing up in high school, I had friends that worked at KFC that talked about their managers had worked there under the real Colonel Sanders, and what a piece of work that man was. And because of that, that KFC is still like horrible to work at. Like, yeah, just saying, guys. I like sound. I've been on one with just the splashy. Like, that is so funny. How fun.